When it comes to sports leagues like the NBA, many teams don't just have their eyes on their next big trade or building around their current superstar, as they are always looking for the next superstar. And for many in the NBA, they feel this is Mikey Williams. He's a prospect who might just make a big splash when his time in the NBA comes. But how much do we really know about him? Allow us to show you 6 things you didn't know about Mikey Williams. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 6, he's a fighter. Let's be honest here for a second. One thing that many fans of the NBA love is when things get heated and the players try and chew each other out and get into shoving matches because they can't let things slide. Well, not so ironically, Mikey Williams is in that category. Because if you look at the footage of him on the court, you'll see him willingly getting into scraps with just about everyone who slights him or his teammates. Such as one case where a teammate of his got knocked down and he shoved the guy who did it and goaded him to try and do it with him. Hopefully he does rein that in so that his college and NBA career don't become filled with fouls and ejections. Just saying. Number 5, the number 1 player. If you don't know, Mikey Williams is potentially going to be a part of the class of 2023 should he decide to go and be a one-and-done player in college. So where does he rank on that current list of players? Number 1. And while that may not sound impressive to some because it is still early in his career and his college play will obviously affect him, it should be noted that there are some very heavy hitters on that list. Key among them is LeBron James Jr., aka Bronny James. Bronny is labeled as the number 3 top prospect on that list, and so for Mikey Williams to be ahead of him, well, that's a big deal. Number 4, North Carolina. If you didn't know already, Mikey Williams is only 16 years old, and that means that he's making waves despite being still relatively young. But that hasn't stopped him from going and playing with some top talent via the AAU League, where he has already battled with Bronny James. While he was born in San Diego, California, his family eventually moved him to North Carolina, and he now plays for Lake Norman. Number 3, the top 3. There was a time when judging high school talent on what they could do was not that easy given the realm of technology at the time. You would have scouts go and make guesses based on their play, and that's how they got evaluated for college. And then they would let the college play go and determine whether or not they were ready for the pros. But nowadays, with everyone having a camera on their phones and being able to record things, you can go onto places like YouTube and see just how good or how bad someone is. Which brings us back to Mikey Williams. Because due to people going and showcasing his games online, people in the sports world are becoming infinitely aware of just how good he is, to the extent that ESPN has ranked him as a top 3 pick for the NBA draft when the time comes. Obviously that could change, but it also might hold true, and thus a lot of teams are going to be hoping to get him in one of those spots. Number 2, round 1 and round 2. At this point, you might be thinking about just how good Mikey Williams really is. Sure, he's projected well, but what has he done to deserve that? Well, look at the first 2 games he played in high school and you'll get an answer. In his first ever high school game, he put up 41 points. He also had some rebounds, assists, and more. Then in his second game ever, he scored 50. So he put up 91 points in 2 games. Now imagine if he is able to do something similar in college and then in the NBA. Number 1, 77. While still playing at San Diego, he went and put up 77 points in a game. To be clear, his opponents didn't even score 60. This just shows that Mikey Williams is able to put up large point totals consistently, which will be huge potentially when he goes to college and tries to do that again. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the things about Mikey Williams that you might not have known? Are you surprised by how much potential Mikey has in the league? Which team do you think is wanting to have him the most in the NBA? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time on the channel.